Hi, I'm Andrew Colyer from ColyerMusic.com, and I just got back from a 29-day North American tour with the band 3.2 featuring Robert Berry. I had the job of covering Keith Emerson, Jordan Rudess, Rick Wakeman, Tony Banks, a whole bunch of progressive rock, classic reinterpretations, a bunch of modern rock stuff from Robert's catalog. It was a ton of work and a ton of fun. And people at the gigs were really receptive, and we're looking forward to seeing you again in the future. A lot of you ask about my keyboard rig, so I thought I would give you a tour. This is part one. It's going to be about the hardware, and part two will be about all the software that I used. So let's get started. Okay, here we go. The heart and the brains of this entire rig for this particular tour is Mainstage. Now, every sound, almost every sound that you hear on this tour comes out of this Mainstage rig. I'm running a MacBook Pro, and this entire rig right here is the Colyer Rosenthal mini rig. I built this rig with the help of my mentor David Rosenthal, who is Billy Joel's musical director. I'm just giving you a screenshot sample. Again, we'll be covering all the software used in part two of this video. So the first thing I recommend you buy that everyone needs is a label maker. And let me tell you why. You're going to be labeling everything. You're going to be labeling hard drives. You're going to be labeling cables. You're going to be labeling things you didn't even know that you needed to label. So the reason I have these hard drives sitting here is I want to talk about redundant backup, which is not sexy. It's expensive, but it's crucially important. If for some reason this laptop goes down on tour, I have a backup right here. This is a 5 terabyte backup that has backups for all of my sample libraries, all my software, all my Mainstage programs, everything, 5 terabytes in this drive right here. And it's labeled with the label maker. Then over here, if for some reason this laptop crashes and my backup laptop crashes, I've got a startup drive clone right here that I can boot this off of any other Macintosh laptop to use to run my rig. Now let's look at what's in the rack here. First of all, we've got our Furman, which is crucial to plug everything into, pre-plugging. We have our Mo2 Ultralight AVB, and then we've got our Mo2 MIDI interface. And these enclosures right here, I have solid-state hard drives that are running on a Thunderbolt cable over here to the laptop. I've got all of my orchestral sample libraries, all my plugins, all of that work, heavy lifting is being done by these solid-state hard drives. And then I have a duplicate of these same solid-state hard drives in case something happens with the drive or in case something happens with the enclosure. If the power supply goes down, if something happens on tour, I have a duplicate backup. So I have a duplicate backup of my external drives in a duplicate enclosure. I've got a startup drive clone in case something happens with both laptops, and then I have, in case something happens with something else, I've got like my regular, all of this whole thing is backed up on this. And I have a duplicate set of all of these drives at home in a fireproof safe, so if something happens, I can call home and say, hey, Federal Express me these drives anywhere in the world in case there was a fire or in case something got stolen or whatnot. All right, so that is the Colyer Rosenthal mini rig. Now, for my bottom controller keyboard, we are using the Arturia Keylab 88. And I want to give a special shout out to Sean Weitzmann at Arturia. First and foremost, I'm a classically trained pianist, so I have to have 88 keys weighted action. Also, it gives you're going to need these 88 keys if you're triggering samples. I like to do it at the bottom or the top end of the keyboard sometimes, but I will be using all of these keys throughout my entire performance. My top keyboard, I'm using the Korg Kronos X, and I want to give a special shout out to Jack Hotop at Korg. This thing is awesome. It gives me all of my synthesizer and organ type keyboard action that I need. It also doubles, this Korg Kronos also doubles as a backup. Should God forbid my rig go down in the middle of performance, all I have to do is turn the volume up and there's my backup. I've got over here in the set list, I'm not going to go there now because I've got a different set list programmed in. This is one of the presets in the Kronos Prog Rock Organ Mania. This is a nice rock organ, but I like to, you know, I'm ready to go just in case something happens in the middle of the set. Then I just use my Kronos as a backup, and the sounds in here and this thing are amazing. Continuing on with the keyboards, we're going to come over here to the ROLI Seaboard Rise 49. Now, in a video from a couple years ago, from another tour I did, I had the 25, but I had to upgrade to the 49, and this thing is awesome. I use it for leads. I use it for all kinds of sound effects with sliding in different songs. These things are great. I love it. I highly recommend you get one. They are super awesome. Now, one of my other new favorite keyboards that I got specifically for this tour is the Roland AX-EDGE. This was custom painted by New York artist Andrew Kaminski. This thing is awesome. I got this because Robert wanted us to go wireless and to be able to do a cool guitar solo during the course of the concert. And you'll see some other photos and video from that. So there's my Roland AX-EDGE. Thank you so much to Igor Len at Roland for helping me out with that. So yeah. So let's see what else we got going on here. Now the pedals on the floor are amazing. So I've got all kinds. I'm going to give you the broad bird's eye view. This is what we're looking at on the floor. All right. I call this my choreography every night. So first of all, actually, let's go right to left. So what is this, you ask? The Airturn BT-200. Now, what do I use that for? That is for my iPad. Because what I can do is, this is an increment-decrement Bluetooth pedal that controls my iPad. So when I go forward or backward, it changes my iPad. There, that's backwards. I use my iPad for performance, and let me tell you, I did a video blog about using your iPad. Let me show you something. I am using, what am I using for this one? I'm using forScore for this particular tour. So what you can do is put all of your songs in, and I do it according to set list. So here's the first half of the set list. Here's the second half of the set list. Here's the Encore. Now in the past I used to do, and then there's all the songs for the first half of the set. Now, what I used to do is one giant 20-page or 50-page document, but what I find now is that sometimes you want to change things in the set. You've got a shorter set, you've got a longer set, you want to move stuff from the first set to the second set, change the Encore. So what I do now is I create one PDF for each song, and then I just put it in here, boom, open it up, and then I've got notes. There's a YouTube link if I need to recheck something on the road. The stuff in green is my notes at the beginning of the song. Anything in blue is rhythmic changes. If I want to scan in some sheet music like that, I can read the sheet music. I can even have the sheet music with notes and lyrics I put highlighted in yellow. I've got a whole Colyer system of doing things. So there you go with that. Now while we're up here, let's step over here to another sound producing device, and this is the world's smallest Moog synthesizer. And this is called the Moog Werkstaat. Moog Werkstaat. I built this with my own two hands. It's got little tack keys here, buttons, that I use this for the intro of one of the songs. And this was also an honor to Keith Emerson because he was the first person in the world to play a giant Moog modular synthesizer on stage in a rock context, and we didn't have that, so I played the world's smallest Moog synthesizer, which was very fun, very cool. You'll see pictures and video of that all out there on YouTube. And I ran that through my Moog MF delay pedal, which was also very cool. So it was 100% analog, 100% Moog circuit, and you can check that out on some other videos. Let's go back to our pedals on the floor. So there's my Airturn pedal to control my iPad with increment and decrement pedals. Now, you might wonder, why is it sitting on top of this Splunk mouse pad? I'll tell you why. Because you go to a lot of stages and sometimes the floor is made of wood, or the floor is slippery, it's got dirt on it, you're stepping on it, it's sliding around during performance, but you put this thing on a rubber mouse pad and it's not moving. All right, over here is our Keith McMillen SoftStep 2. This is my MIDI controller for MIDI increment, MIDI decrement, and all notes MIDI off, and this sends a signal over to my rig for my main stage. So this one goes forward, this one goes backward, and this one is all MIDI notes off. And you can see the number change. There's my 127. There you go. All right. This is my sustain and expression pedals. Now, a lot of people want to know, why did I put these on a Pedaltrain guitar pedal board? And it's because I need my pedals to be in the same place every night, and I don't want them sliding around on the floor, and I need to know exactly what's... I'm managing so many things, you know, just stick them on the pedal board, put it in a hard case, and take it away. All right, this is a TC Helicon VoiceLive 3, and notice the AC too high. So what that is the MIDI signal that's coming out of my Arturia keyboard is split. The MIDI signal goes through this MIDI Solutions through box, and one signal goes into my rig, the other signal goes in to the TC Helicon. So whatever chord that I'm playing on my Arturia keyboard, this TC Helicon will create, it'll take my voice and it'll create two other voices that are in the same chord, that are two pitches higher in the same chord above me. Now, when you look at the back of this thing, there's my microphone cable from my mic stand going into the box, and see where it reads left mono and right dry. So what happens is, one of these signals is just a pass through for my vocal for front of house, so they can have my vocal to mix by itself, and the other one has the processed harmony vocal, so they can have a volume control. The either monitor engineer or the front of house mix engineer can control how much of that harmony part he wants in there. There's the MIDI input, and that's power supply. Okay, another thing that I want to show you about this really quickly, if I press the vocal button, you see where it reads lead level? So what I found is that the lead level, I'll turn it down to about -6. You can see that now, lead level -6 dB. And what that does is that actually makes my voice in the harmony vocals even with the other two background vocals. So that way the processed vocals are all even 3-part harmony, and it sounds really great. All right, what do we got else on the floor? The Radial Key Largo 4-channel keyboard mixer. So let me tell you what I use this for. The audio signal coming out of my Motu audio interface from the computer goes into channel 1. The channel 2 is the left and right signal from my Korg Kronos. So I can have that turned up, I can have that turned down, whatever I need. Channel 3 is also a stereo channel, but what I do is, because the Moog Werkstaat is mono, what I do is, for the Roland AX-EDGE for the guitar, I use that as a mono signal. And the Moog Werkstaat goes into the left channel, and the AX-EDGE runs through this super awesome Line 6 G10S Relay. This is a wireless audio. So I'm running one channel, not a stereo channel, mono channel out of the Roland AX-EDGE through this that goes, and this little thing right here pops out and plugs into the Roland AX-EDGE, just like if I was a guitar player live on stage. Then that runs mono over into the Key Largo. So I basically have 4 things all running out. It's a combination with a DI box. So that just goes straight to the house. Isn't this cool? So I got 2 stereo things and 2 mono things all plugged in, running through this Key Largo. It is super mega awesome. I love this thing. All right, coming up, what do we got over here? Oh, well, we're still on the floor. What is this? Another Radial ProD2 stereo direct box. What is that for? That's for the samples. So a lot of times when you're in a band, in a lot of different situations, you're going to have some samples to trigger that you need for a click track, that you need to send to the house, whatever you need. So out the back of my Motu audio interface, I have a separate set of stereo outputs that for samples that only runs through this and goes to the house. And it can go to in-ear monitors and whatever else we need. What are all these other things on the floor? Kenton USB box. That is my USB to MIDI converter for the ROLI. This little Keith McMillen MIDI expander box. That's for the USB to MIDI conversion for my Keith McMillen SoftStep. And I believe that's all the pedals over here in this part of the neighborhood. What do we have here? Look at this. Sennheiser headphones. I highly suggest you take your own set of headphones on the road, and I'm going to tell you why. First of all, before you leave to go on the road, get that label maker and put your name on the headphones, because other people are going to have something to look just like it, and they're going to think that yours or theirs. They're going to take it, and they're not going to have it anymore. Here's why. A lot of times, when you set up for sound check, you could be set up before other people, or you could be set up and other people want to leave and go get something to eat, but you need to warm up or do something. So guess what? The house guy doesn't. You can turn down the main output of your little mixer. You can practice and listen through your own headphones. You can hear everything you're doing except for your vocals. But your keyboard stuff, you can be ready to go. You can be warming up or practicing. Just make sure that you turn the main back up before you start performing. Okay, what else we got here? We'll make a hard drive. A Verizon MiFi box, JetPack. I highly suggest you get one of these because it's a portable Wi-Fi device. People say, oh, I can use my phone as a hotspot. I don't like doing that because if I'm on the road and I need a MiFi, I don't want to have to use my phone all the time. So get one of those. What is this? Oh, a flashlight. You know what? You know how many times you can't see stuff because you're setting up on stage and it's too dark, they've turned the lights off already and you can't see squat? Get a flashlight. All right, what do we got here? Microphone. All right, we're coming around. All right, we already saw the ROLI. What do we got here? Oh, the Moog Mother 32. Now, why am I showing you this when I didn't play it on tour? Because we got to go on a tour of the Moog factory, and we got a private tour from Michelle Moog at the Moogseum in Asheville, North Carolina, because we had a gig in Asheville, and this thing is so cool, I just wanted to plug it in and show it to you, and it'll be featured on some upcoming songs, gigs, performances. All right, here are the Sennheiser In-Ear Monitor system transmitters that we used directly on tour. We took these on tour. Those are mine. Here, let me show you another use of the label maker. Every night when you go to plug in, vocals dry, vocals wet, keys left, keys right, sample left, sample right. Put all this together, wire it up in a snake. It's got to go anywhere from 15 to 25 feet. With that label maker on there, you never have a problem, and it happens really quickly. What do we got over here? Laptop computer with our XAir software controlling this XAir, which we use for rehearsals. So those things are great. What do we got over here? Okay, in-ear monitors. I use Westone in-ear monitors, handcrafted for me. These are awesome. I love them. What is this? Why do I have batteries out? Take plenty of batteries with you everywhere. You never know when you're going to need batteries. 9-volt batteries, AA batteries, AAA batteries. Hey man, anybody got a battery? Then you're prepared. Gig gloves. Get these. Just buy them. Don't even ask me. If you're a giggy musician, you need a pair of these. I'm throwing my Sweetwater sticker out there because I'm giving a special shout out to Richard Whittington at Sweetwater Sound. He and Sweetwater are super awesome for all of your musical needs, unless you have a direct relationship. And even if you do have a direct relationship as an artist, I highly recommend them for everything. All right. So that's it for part 1. Stay tuned for part 2, where we're going to cover all the software that we used on this 3.2 featuring Robert Berry Tour 2019. I'm Andrew Colyer from ColyerMusic.com. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you next time.